My name is Adam Sheets. This is my problem solution speech. It is December 9th, 2012, and I will now introduce my audience. Right here we have Christian Sherrard, my neighbor, Paula Hodai, my other neighbor, Jordan Black, my roommate, Nick Harkis, my roommate, and Brandon Wright, my other roommate. Today I'm going to talk to you about underage drinking. I'll start with a few numbers to get you familiar with the epidemic we have going on right now, followed by a few solutions to the problem. And finally, I'll end with a few things that are going to happen in the next few years to help with underage alcohol consumption. Minors and drinking are something that should get under everyone's skin. Not only is it illegal, but it's incredibly bad for you and causes countless deaths and injuries per year. Underage drinking is a topic that is widely discussed both in homes and in courtrooms. Parents get in trouble for it every weekend, and sometimes they don't even know they're going to get in trouble. Kids all over the country are becoming more and more curious when it comes to experimenting with drugs and alcohol. With alcohol more readily available to them, usually it becomes what they experiment with the most. Obviously, the government cannot stop kids from sneaking into the liquor cabinet in their homes and taking alcohol, but is there anything that the government can do to curtail the abuse of alcohol by underage kids? Let's look at some numbers. Underage kids account for 11.4% of alcohol consumption in the United States, according to an article on alcoholnews.org regarding underage drinking. 5 million high schoolers say they binge drink more than once a month, according to a report on About.com regarding alcoholism. Of course, when I was in high school, I did underage drink, and it seems like during this day and age, everyone does it. I asked my little brother, who was a sophomore in high school, what is easier to get his hands on if he wants it, drugs or alcohol, in which he replied, both. In my mind, it seems so ridiculous that drugs and alcohol are so available to an age group of kids who should hardly even know what sex is yet. I'm a big believer in keeping government out of things, and this isn't going to be a different perspective from me. What would the government do? Make sure that if you have kids and alcohol in your home, you have fingerprint scanners on alcohol cabinets? That's not realistic, and they can't do that. So what can they change so kids stop getting their hands on alcohol so easily? A big way kids are getting alcohol in their hands these days is with fake IDs, and going to places that aren't as strict as they're supposed to be when it comes to checking them. According to a story on vstar.net, there are grants that the government can give to local authorities in towns so that they have more money and resources. The only catch is they have to use this money and these resources to the effort of cracking down on these places that don't necessarily check IDs as they should. Next, we'll move on to the risks of alcohol being in the hands of minors. And first and foremost, driving comes to mind. While drinking and driving at any age is illegal and incredibly dangerous, I believe it is more of a risk for underage people. You're more impressionable and much more likely to give in to peer pressure at that age. According to EdgarSnyder.com, 32% of motor vehicle deaths while intoxicated are from kids 16 to 20 years old. Another interesting fact is that over 60% of kids 16 to 20 have been highly intoxicated in the last month. Kids are dying and parents' lives are being ripped to pieces. I've seen families torn apart by these kinds of incidents, and it's ridiculous that some people think they're above the law and invincible. On a nightly basis in my hometown, there are DUI checkpoints. Sure, this is a good way to keep people from continuing on with their intoxicated driving, but that doesn't stop the fact that the people who got stopped have already been driving however many miles to get to that point. It's a great effort, but other than the fact that it produces revenue for local authorities, it isn't a very effective way to stop drunk drivers. In my opinion, the only way to really stop drunk driving, overage or underage, is to keep authorities at exits of all bars instead of on the streets at nighttime. This wouldn't be a way to make money off of drunk drivers. It would be a way to keep the streets safer. They wouldn't be there to arrest drunk people coming out of a bar, but they'd be there to breathalyze and advise people to call cabs, friends, etc. for rides. More of a buddy system than a legal system. And sure, this seems like a pipe dream, but it's one of my proposed solutions to the problem. A huge solution to the fake ID epidemic is simple. I have friends that use fake IDs. I've seen how simple it is to get in any club or bar. I've seen how easy it is to buy alcohol from some of the most legitimate establishments. Here's my solution. When you go into a liquor store like ABC Liquor, they scan your ID to make sure it's real. When you go to a place like Buffalo Wild Wings, they just look at it, and if it somewhat looks like you and it says you're 21, they'll sell to you. All any restaurant, club, or bar has to do is use the system like ABC Liquor, and underage drinking in public would come to almost a complete halt. Now, to a different issue of the same topic. Underage drinking at home. While parents are going to parent however they want, this is a difficult topic to address. The biggest thing when it comes to a private residence and underage drinking is that a lot of parents were able to drink when they were 18. In their minds, having a drink or two at home isn't a big deal, because they were allowed to do it. This is a problem that almost has no solution. Police aren't going to get called by anyone, and unless the parent lets the child go out and drive and gets pulled over, the authorities won't ever have any idea. I've told you about a problem that is highly present in our society. It's a problem that needs to be addressed and fixed as soon as possible. I first told you numbers regarding the number of underage people who drink, followed by reasons that it is so easy for them to get a hold of alcohol. I then went on to tell you how to fix that issue, as well as reasons and a solution to keeping drunk drivers off the road. Underage drinking is a huge problem. It should get under all of our skin. Maybe the drinking part is the least of our worries, because according to numbers I provided to you, the injuries and deaths are the part we should be worried about. Obviously, this is a cause and effect problem. If you get rid of underage drinking, you get rid of underage injuries and deaths due to alcohol consumption.